Backseat Drivers time. Welcome to Backseat Drivers number 19 for 2023. This week I can ignore all of Rob's notes because he's not here. So let's talk about Wrexham Season 3 coming soon to Enstone. For that topic and many more this week, we've got Sir Matt of Motorsport.
I'm getting a knighthood this week, Dave.
Apparently you can just buy them.
I'm just going to give myself one for services to sports commentating.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's no reason to disagree with that. And the super subs here tonight as well. Buffy.
G'day.
I think Boogie wants to become the new backup driver. Seems like everyone's going for Checo's job now.
I think so.
Yeah, so because Rob's not here, we can have a good discussion about this. Dan Ricciardo confirmed for the 3 days of testing for Perez's seat.
Yep.
So basically, he will be driving in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's At the start of the year, I was not confident in my prediction. It's happening a little bit later in the season to when I expected. But it's all falling into place now.
Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen after the things? Is it going to happen after the summer break?
Yeah, Dan will replace Checo, and then he'll train up his replacement. I reckon they'll put Dan for the rest of the year, but they've probably told him, you're probably not having a seat next year at Red Bull, but can you help us? I don't know, train up Lawson or Yuki or someone else.
No, but I don't think Yuki's going to get a run.
No.
At it.
They might tell him he has a slight chance. You know, like when you tell people they're nominated for an award just to get them excited, they'll be like, hey, Yuki, don't get too excited, but I have heard Christian Horner say your name. I don't know in what context. Maybe he just said, has anyone seen Yuki? He's so small, I lose him sometimes. But also, Helmut may have said your name as well. Also, maybe in disgust. Again, get your hopes up high because there's an off chance we let you sit in the Red Bull seat and go, all right, that's enough. Out you get now. Your time's over. Let someone else sit in it.
Yeah. But without being rude to Yuki, he's there because of Honda.
Yeah.
They don't have that allegiance to Honda anymore. Not really. Time's running out on that deal. He hasn't done enough to just like when you think Gasly did more in that seat and then didn't excel going to Red Bull. There's been others before like Sainz where they give up on him rather than trying to keep him in house and promote. I can't see Yuki, and then I'm not sure Liam's from what I've heard, he's not outstanding enough in Super Formula. He's doing okay, but I think Gasly actually did better when he was there. So I'd probably put Alex Palou as more of a chance in that seat at AlphaTauri next year than Liam Lawson or anyone else.
Okay.
So next year, you're saying there'll be whatever AlphaTauri's called next year, we'll call it Team Blue Ox because they have to change their name.
Okay.
So you're saying that Yuki's out, Palou's in, Checo's out, Dan's in. Because Dan will be a great number 2 driver. I think he's finally realised I'm not a world champion, but I could win a Constructors' Champion by literally riding off the coattails of Max. I just have to turn up, qualify in second, and then I have a fairly breezy... Because the gap between me and Max will be about 10 seconds, and then the gap between me and, say, Alonso will be 4.5 minutes, and all I have to do is just cheese it around the track for an hour and a half. I get easy, 20 points per second?
18.
18. And in between that, I can make wacky videos with my mates shooting hockey pucks and driving remote control boats still.
Yeah.
That pretty much sums it up.
I'm assuming coming second to Max will not take up more of his time, and he'll still allowed to be doing wacky videos with, pushing Yuki off a boat.
He'll still have to muck around.
Yeah.
And Yuki will probably still be there because they haven't got a better option.
Yeah. But then who takes over the priest?
So Dan and Yuki can still do wacky adventures together.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what people want to see.
They want to see Dan and Yuki do some wacky stuff.
I think the Drive to Survive people want to see Daniel Ricciardo on the show.
Of course they do.
Netflix want to see Daniel Ricciardo because right now they are sweating that they have nothing to. Because basically, you're not going to worry about Max. That's a boring show. George isn't really. George is complaining for one episode. He'll be one episode where he talks about the three.
He'll complain about absolutely everything.
Yeah, that crash into people, and the rest of them, everyone's forgotten about anyway.
Except maybe there might be an episode on Alonso as well.
Yeah, you've got the Fernando Papastrol bromance.
Yep.
Yeah. And you'll have Wrexham coming in.
Yeah, exactly. You'll have Ryan
Reynolds.
Yeah.
So that should be fun too.
Maybe they can just lean towards Deadpool all the time.
Yeah.
And
of course they're going to do that.
Don't forget Ronald McDonald.
Of course.
What is it? Iron.
Oh, whatever it is, who knows?
Rob McElhenney.
Yep.
And whoever the other people. This is actually unlike the Wrexham deal, though. This is like an investment company.
It's a group of
it's a group of people. Yeah.
I believe the other Michael Jordan is a part of it.
Michael B. Jordan.
What is this other Michael Jordan?
He is
the actor.
The actor.
Michael B. Jordan. He was in.
Yeah, so he's an actor, is he?
He's an actor. Jordan. They make that joke in the movie Space Jam where he says, "I've got Michael Jordan," and it's Michael B. Jordan who is an actor, not a
not the basketball player.
I'm just doing the Googles.
The old Googles. I know who he is.
I don't know who he is because I don't know if I've seen any of these movies.
You would have seen.
I might have seen Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Warmonger. The evil guy, the evil cousin.
Well, Boogie is now our resident Marvel expert as well, and he will fill you in on the last 20 years of Marvel.
Oh, that's no. There's other people can do that in God knows how many hour YouTube episodes. I don't want to go through that.
These guys are more the face, though, of some people with actual, like proper billionaires, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. So if you look at, I think Ryan Reynolds.
It's like when they bought. There's some teams in England that are not racing, but they were bought out, and LeBron James happens to be a small percentage owner, so he can technically say he owned.
Wasn't Lewis part of that?
No, that never went through.
He was a part of a consortium with Serena Williams, I think, to buy a North London team, maybe Chelsea, and he was a tiny owner.
Through, did it? That didn't go through that one, did it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Are we going to start seeing, Dave, F1 owners buying teeny tiny like F3 teams? I would like to see Lewis own an F3 team.
I don't think so.
I mean, it has happened in the past. Like Mark Webber had a team. The Kimi Raikkonen was involved in a team. They're probably the two most.
Jimmy being a team principal, not the.
Yeah.
He'd be like, just win, go fast, just win. That's it. That's all. That's all he say to the people. You know how he is with his choice of words.
The hard thing with that is that when the drivers, I suppose, there isn't that motivation to own a team, say, in a lower category, like to put your money into developing other people. Like Webber's probably a special case where he has actually helped some people along the way.
So what you're
Most
saying
of
is
them,
you've got to be a failed driver to become a good team principal. Say,
Yeah.
Mr. Ginger Spice.
yeah, but see,
Or you're a
he
driver
was,
that's not quite good enough to get into F1.
yeah, like Toto. But see, like with Christian, he didn't have the budget to say go and pay like Helmut Marko at the time a boatload of money. He didn't have the sponsors, so he did it on the cheap. And one of the ways of saving a lot of money was to set up his own team, and bought a cheap transporter, had a few mates or whatever helping out with mechanicals and stuff, and that's how Arden his team started.
Oh yeah. I think I saw a YouTube documentary on Christian Horner's rise to.
Yeah, where you probably even now you're not seeing it costs so much to set up even these junior teams, and you're not so much getting the people with little money coming through. You're getting even like the Lando Norrises and that where
there's money involved.
Yeah, there's still a lot of family money. What's his name? Logan Sargent kind of thing.
But Logan
they're not billionaires.
Logan Sargent is just a natural one in a generational, amazing driver. He's just
yeah.
Wait. Let me just scroll to the bottom of this page of the points. Keep going. Oh no, there he is, Dave. He's last. He's not finished any better than 12th.
So who replaces Sargent next year?
I say anyone else. You know what you do, Dave? You get 6 cars of equal machinery. Just speak to
that's called F2.
Mercedes.
IndyCar.
And you get
F2.
Indy cars.
F2 is exactly the same
at
as
the
well.
end of it, give him a race. You know what? And just for a laugh, you put Logan Sargent in the other one, so he has to fight his own relegation. And whoever crosses the line gets to replace both Nick and Logan.
So
and if Logan or Nick happen to finish in the top 2, they keep their job. But I say every 4 weeks they have a mad dash, and all they do, and it could be any time, Dave. You'll wait. They'll just ring an alarm and just say downstairs, like in Le Mans. You run down to the car. It could be at 2 a.m. You got to get in the car, get dressed, do a lap, come back. First person back gets to keep their seat.
So it's a bit like the drug testing.
Yeah,
you have to give them a schedule of where you're going to be, and then they can turn up.
And they'll say,
or if you're not all together, they could literally just ring you up and just say, quickly now, you're going to do a lap, we're going to time you, and then that goes on the board, and then everyone does it, and then they look at it and go, sorry, Nick, you're too low. Away you go.
Just on this side topic that Jared's brought up, I actually think he will do very well, but I think he will get rubbed up by other guys, and the end result won't be brilliant. But I think he will qualify definitely, I'd say, well within the top 10. And I think you'll see him be one of the fastest in the race. But the good old boys won't like it, and Rubbin's racing, he'll get shuffled to the back at some point, probably with a hell of a lot of damage to the car.
How many internationals do they have in NASCAR? Or is it not like IndyCar where it's a little bit more cosmopolitan?
To be honest, I'm trying to... I'm not sure right now, but the first non-North American to ever win in NASCAR was Montoya. And then second was Marcus Ambrose.
Oh,
wow, that's not many.
Yeah, and then I'm not sure how it's gone after that.
So what you're saying is, wait a minute, because there's only been one female driver, right?
I think there's probably been a few over the years, but Danica was probably
there's been more women than they have international drivers in NASCAR, or is it?
No, it's just winners though.
Okay.
like, so you had even guys like Frank Kitty, who was extremely good at IndyCar. He went, he didn't even, I don't even think he did NASCAR. I think he did Nationwide, which, whatever Xfinity now, the F2 of NASCAR. And yeah, he lasted a season and then went back to IndyCar because he was just nowhere. Yeah, it's a very hard one for people who haven't grown up kind of doing that short track stuff to get into.
I'm just looking at the names of all the drivers in IndyCar. The only ones there's only two drivers that look like they're the non-Americans is Jenson Button and Kimi Räikkönen.
At NASCAR.
That's it. NASCAR.
Yeah, and they've only done single races in the last 12 months.
Well, it's got Kimi Räikkönen in one race and he got 8 points. Yeah. Jenson Button did one race and he won and he got 19 points in it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wait, did he win a race?
No.
Oh.
Matt, 19 points is not in NASCAR is
that's right, Dave. You were saying
they have like thousands.
Yeah. 8 points means that you finish 32nd or something.
Something like that.
Yeah. So I don't know the statistics now, but yeah, it's a very North American kind of closed shop. So when Van Gisbergen comes in and does well on a debut, like it'll be a pretty big thing for them.
Is he just doing it for one-off?
At the moment, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if he... So the problem is, though, if he does well, NASCAR will be disappointed that, a non-good old boy has done well. If he does badly, it looks bad for, him. But then Americans will be like, well, that's fine. We don't want him winning races anyway.
Yeah.
Does he just have to finish, maybe top 10 just to, do well but not well enough?
Basically.
Yeah. I think the hard thing is, the bonus is he's getting in. This is a street track, the first time NASCAR has ever raced on street track.
Oh.
So the track is new to everyone, and most of these guys won't have done a street track race before. Whereas Shane,
this is like American V8s then. Like it's just him doing a race, but it just happens to be in America.
So he's got to learn the car, but he's very good at street racing. Whereas the other guys are very good at the car, but
we have no idea about street racing.
You got to remember to get in the wrong side of the car.
Yeah, that's the only problem.
Are they sealed up? Do you still have to Dukes of Hazzard in?
Yeah,
of course you do. They were doing that for Mons as well. Remember that?
Do they do that in supercars? I don't. No. I never paid.
No, they have proper
doors. At least it's still a four-seater.
This is why supercars is way ahead of NASCAR. We have working doors.
Yeah, it's more for the crashing on the ovals.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Remember, they only turn left. Most of the time, they're mostly turning left. Remember that, Matt?
Yeah.
That road, but street course, you can do 4 left-hand turns, but as soon as you do 1 right-hand turn, you've got to do 4 left-hand turns to get it back.
Yep. I've never actually seen the track. How's the track look like?
I haven't actually seen it. Apparently, it's pretty ordinary.
I really did very.
Very. Apparently, it makes the new Detroit track look.
You mean the car park one you told me about?
Nah, the one that IndyCar raced at the other week.
Oh.
That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. The only problem is, Matt, it was a very short track, basically with a 1 mile straight. That's all it was.
I'm still remembering the one Dave told me about when I didn't believe him when I said they raced in a car park. And then
they raced in a car park.
The old
and they raced at the airport.
Like when your dad sets up driving practice for you and just says, "Now drive between these cones. We'll do 3 laps of this, and you can do some left and right hand turns, and away you go."
So this looks like a heap of 90-degree corners. Pretty much.
That's crashes, Dave. That's 100% crashing.
Looks like it's already in iRacing.
Is it?
Looks like
but
it.
That track looks so what? There's no. So what is it? Left, right, slight right, slight right, slight right, left, right, left, right, right.
So
There's
there,
more
there
right
are
hand turns and
turns
left
in it
hand
though.
turns. Yeah, but it looks like it's a very short track.
Yeah.
It's not bad for a
many
straight.
laps, multiple crashes.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah. It's
Dave, are the NASCAR street tracks as narrow as F1, or are they more IndyCar wide?
I have no idea.
I'm not sure about this one. I think this is. It makes some of the IndyCar circuits look big, apparently.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's
it makes Detroit and Nashville look quite good.
so it's
I
like a
want to see
Monaco
this on
track.
Google Maps or something. I actually want to see this on Google Maps or something.
Bumpy.
Oh, maybe I should watch the highlights of this when it's done.
It look. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Some sections of it are wide, but there's other sections that are really narrow.
Like it
From what
funnels
I
in.
Yeah. Like when you're coming into the corner, it's a wide corner, but all of a sudden just narrows down to you might be lucky to get 2 cars going through there.
So you can fit 3 easy. If I've seen
it's
NASCAR.
Yeah, they should be able
NASCAR,
to-
yeah.
They'll fit through.
They'll jam 16 in there.
And how many cars in the starting grid, Dave?
I think there's still 38.
And how many do we think will finish?
They get them
circuit.
kind of. Yeah, they smash the crap out of them and then keep them going, I think.
So they're
I'll
not,
say
they're not
half.
like F1 cars where
No,
the
no.
wind looks at it the wrong way, the nose cone falls off, and that's it, retired, send them home.
No,
they're a body car. It's all fiberglass. So even if the fiberglass gets damaged, they'll just replace the body or they'll tape it up with 200 mile an hour tape, and that's it. And they'll keep going.
Perfect. Why can't they do that in F1?
F1's a little bit more fragile.
If someone drives into the sand trap in F1,
Yeah.
I think what should happen is they should either get a forklift that just lifts them up. You know, like in Mario Kart where they fly them up and then they put them back on the track?
Yeah.
They should have like a low flying crane, not enough so people can see underneath them again, but just enough, and then they drop them in the circuit.
Yep.
And you know what? You probably don't. If you do it quick enough, you won't even need a safety car.
Oh, you put it under a virtual.
No. You just chuck them in and you just slot them in. They basically have to wait for a gap, and then you go. So you might get lapped.
No, but while they're doing the recovery part, you keep the other cars will have to be under a virtual place to slow it down.
Just keep it going, Bobby. This is Matt's plan to make. This is Matt's plans to make F1 better. Also, as I told you a couple of weeks ago, all the pit crew now are just the Indy pit crew, and it's all open, and you have double side. So like you'd have, and you pick a side, and then if you need to do a double pit, it switches to the other side. So you've got, and the thing is, they won't tell you until you said box. Then they'll say, Dave, you're on parking bay 6 on the right hand side, and you're only told just as you're pitting, just to make it more interesting. Because then when they take out, I want to see those Indy crashes into people.
Yeah, ain't gonna happen.
This is why I should be in charge of F1. And then I'm going to have my mate, Mr. Massey, whisper in my ear and tell me things. So, Dave, can we talk about the greatest thing that's happened this week? Papa Stroll wants to get a knighthood for, as I said, giving a job to your kid for something he's not qualified for. Basically, the royal family. So I think he's a shoo-in.
He's well and truly earned it.
He's truly understood what it means to be, some sort of royalty in England.
Oh, for sure.
Using your money to get stuff for your kids that do nothing and bring nothing to the whatever they're doing.
Where did this come from? Like,
basically, Papa Stroll has said, because I've done so much for the racing team, I turned up this money and I made it good.
I've saved Aston Martin name.
What I mean is that did he instigate this, or was it a leading question from?
No. He instigated it himself.
he thinks that he is the Lord and Savior of F1.
No. Lord and Savior of Aston Martin F1.
He basically he's bought his kid. He's bought his son a new friend. They've turned up at a new school. Lance has no friends at this school, so he's paid enough money to get his name on a wing. The Stroll Academy Racing School. No one wants to be his friend, so he brings back one of the old favorites, and he's like, Alonso, here's some money. You be my son's friend. You hang out with him, so all the other kids in the school think you're popular.
He's cool.
Yeah, and then what's going to happen is the other kids will go, check out him. He's hanging out with that two-time champion. He must be cool, because it's not like a two-time champion's just going to hang out with anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Lewis hangs out with George all the time. Alonso's hanging out with him because he's a friend. And then he gets his bonuses.
Paid a shitload of money.
He gets his cheerful radio message bonus. And just, I was going so slowly that I could watch your son on the TV. That's how much I'm not paying attention to this and still coming second each week. I mean, he's not wrong. He has made it slightly more interesting that now there is I wouldn't say a good team, but at least it's knocked off.
He's more saying the road car company. So
yeah, that's what he's saying.
He's
basically
saved,
because
1,000 jobs or whatever. Yeah,
because all of a sudden he's made Aston F1 more relevant now because
the road car company.
Road car.
Okay. Well, anyway, through the F1, he's basically saying the road car, they're selling more cars, they're making more money, they're in profit, and I should be acknowledged for that. And I want a knighthood.
You get the profits from it.
Exactly.
I believe Horner's got a knighthood, and I think Jerry's and Ginger's got a knighthood or whatever she got.
A ladyship.
I
don't think it's Sir Christian Horner. It's not Sir Christian Horner.
No, he might be like an.
He might be like a order of Britain or something. It's definitely not a. He's not a knight, not like Lewis.
Yeah,
he's not a.
See, like, it's hard because I don't totally agree with some of them, but it's for the services within the sport or whatever. Usually,
an OBE. Sorry.
Yeah, where like to an extent I can understand. Like Lewis has won however many world championships, depending whether you count the Massa one or the Max one or
six.
Unfortunately, it's that
6 plus 2 minus Nico Rosberg plus Massa.
Well, human error and equal machinery,
mass involved. Just on a quick side note, with Deadpool buying Enstone, $200 million reduce. Yep. 24.9.
Was it euros?
Whatever they paid. Whatever. 200 million currency units, 24.9% stake. Now apparently the team's worth $1 billion.
800 it should be about.
You worked that out pretty quickly too. All these people. Now the team's worth $1 billion. You're like,
no, it's not. It's 800,000.
Simple maths. 800 million.
Dave, I'm calling it now. Next year at Monaco, we're going to see a Deadpool livery car like the Star Wars one. And on the front of the thing, it's going to have a photo of Deadpool. And on the back, where the brake lights are, it's going to be Wolverine. I'm calling it now. And all the pit crew are going to be dressed up in red tracksuits. So they all look like Deadpool. And whoever's the team
Deadpool
boss
movie comes out next year anyway.
Yeah, and then whoever's the boss will dress up as Wolverine. And the helmet will be a Deadpool face.
I could see Hugh Jackman doing something with that because him and Reynolds get along so well. I reckon Ryan will probably say, "Look, Hugh, We want you to come to Monaco. We'll get you all make-upped up as Wolverine, and we want you to just hang around the entire weekend. And I bet, and Hugh Jackman will do it.
I mean, last time though they had something at the Monaco. Didn't Whiplash break one of the F1 cars in that documentary Iron Man 2, where
I think so.
Iron Man drives the F1 car at Monaco? He did it before Brad Pitt started driving F1 cars.
I know.
Yeah.
Pointing
He
that
did
out.
it before it was cool.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So what were we talking about before I distracted everyone?
Oh, the knighthoods.
The knighthood of Papa Stroll.
Oh yeah, the maths of how many championships. Like I can understand that Lewis has the services to sport or whatever. Like he gets paid very well for it. Yeah. Let's be honest, Papa Stroll hasn't done this out of the goodness of his heart. He's done it because he wanted his he wanted his Formula One team to become a factory team, but he's also turning around the Aston Martin car brand to make profit for his shareholders. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And the thing is, he's not the only shareholder in this.
No.
There's other people in the background that have also, like, he hasn't solely done this. There's other people in the background. So do they get knighthoods?
They get little
They should get something, or they get an OBA Order of the British Empire.
Yeah. He hasn't done it just out of...
He hasn't done it out of the goodness of his heart. I know that.
If he was doing it as, a non-profit kind of... If all the profits went into the Formula One team or something like that, maybe.
I mean, technically they do, Dave. It goes to a charity. It's called the Lance Stroll Can't Drive Charity. And I need a team. Daddy, help me, please. Publicly listed company.
But like maybe if he bought the team, bought Aston Martin, and then all the employees or whatever get shares in the company or something like that as a motivational thing for the employees or something. Maybe then you could go, hey, I've done this really good thing for you. Then you open up like any businessman essentially that employs people.
Yeah. To get
knighthood.
To go for a knighthood. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a Canadian.
Some Canadian. I like James. Yeah, I like James Hinchcliffe.
Okay, he's good. Yeah, James Hinchcliffe's actually pretty good. Him and Lee Duffy on the
actually, I'm just checking.
Lee Duffy's Australian.
That's what I'm saying. The Canadian and the Aussie get along well.
Yeah.
And they give crap.
Yeah.
And they give.
There is some dickhead Canadians.
Of course.
Jacques Villeneuve.
I forgot about we pinched the nerve this week with listing your favourite Canadians, and you and you brought up some angry memories for Dave, who it turns out has a passion against certain Canadians.
Yes.
I was watching something, one of those YouTube documentaries, that was about essentially his IndyCar career.
Yeah.
And when you actually what he did in IndyCar, and then you think he came to F1.
Yeah.
Went in, like, granted, he went in with the best team or whatever, but he took on Damon Hill in that first year. Like, he came second in the championship. He won the championship in his second year. Granted, Frentzen was not top drawer or whatever when he went to Williams. Whatever went wrong there. And Schumacher was off in Ferrari, were being peak Ferrari at that point. And they essentially had no competition for the championship, and he made a bit of a meal of it. But when you look what he did in IndyCar, then came in F1, finished second, won the championship, and then and then he just lost the plot. Like, he goes and makes an album, and
Hey, I found it. It was on Spotify.
Are you saying you're not looking forward to Checo's mariachi band record that comes out once he's no longer a Red Bull driver?
Well,
it might actually sound good.
Yeah, you never know.
Mariachi bands are awesome, Matt.
Yeah,
I would buy it. It'd be great.
It's got to be better than the trash Villeneuve put out.
I think so. Was it a rap album or something?
No, it's like acoustic guitar.
What? Okay.
I don't mind a bit of like acoustic and
Okay.
this was just trash.
I wonder if Lando will bring out an album.
Have a listen to it.
I think, all right, I have
So
to.
Dave,
Now I have
what
to.
do you hate more? The fact that he released the album, or he's just brain snapped?
Probably both.
I just wonder, like, the talent they kind of wasted, like the potential.
But weren't there a lot of F1? I don't know how true this is, but what's his name? Hunt won the F1, and then basically went, well, I've won it now. I can go off and I can continue partying now because I've done what I needed to do. Because there might be this drivers that are like, I've achieved the peak.
No, but Hunt
There's
was
no higher.
Hunt was fairly like, I've done this. I've achieved my life goal and kind of went away.
Yeah.
Whereas Villeneuve hung on and got more drives, and he's still trying to be. I think he's involved with this bloody pure F1 or whatever it is.
So you're saying that there's a world champ that's just holding on, thinking he's going to get one more. Hamilton.
Well,
sorry.
Yeah. He doesn't think he's going to be driving for the. Actually, it's Craig Pollock that's involved in that.
Okay.
Chance F1 or whatever we're going to employ 50% male and 50% female, and I'm not sexist. I have nothing against employing females, but if you're just going for a pure quota thing, you're not going to be successful.
No, of course not.
No, you know what you do, Dave? You do what everyone does in F1 and just steal all the F1, their Red Bull employees.
Yeah, but
they have,
then if you've got to make the quota, though, do you try and go through and pinch all the female employees from the other teams?
I mean, I was watching the Red Bull one today where they spoke to the three, what's the name? The strategy, aero, and simulator. And I don't know about the rest of the teams, but I already know that Red Bull strategy, what's her name? Schmidt. She's clearly the second smartest person on the grid. And then whoever works in the Red Bull aero department, I'm instantly putting them up here regardless. Basically, they stole her out. She finished uni, and now she works straight at Red Bull. So clearly, Newey or something's been watching her and gone, as soon as she steps out of the university, just yank her, distract her with my red shiny book of aero talk, and then steal her in. Quick, before anyone notices, Toto's going to be too busy eating pumpernickel, so he'll be distracted for a couple of minutes. And then they had the woman that did the simulations.
Okay.
And it turns out she'd been working in F1 for like 15 years. And then she also does sailboats for Red Bull.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, you'd put them up here. So if I was going to steal any employees, I'd go to Red Bull and just be like, here's my blank check. I obviously can't afford Newey because even a blank check won't take him away. But maybe I can steal away every other employee. Yeah,
but to me, it screams a little bit like the W Series where, like, we're going to put out 20 cars or whatever, and then complain that they're not all front runners. You're like, but you haven't built up that.
It's going to take some time.
Infrastructure there.
So that could almost be said about F1. I mean, I think in the last 2 or 3 years, we've always had a Gotifi, a Nick, a Logan. We're always going to have. You're always going to.
They're not all going to be winners.
Yeah, exactly. They can't all be Checos. Some of them will have to be lower down. Some of them will lose their job in the first year. Some of them, like Checo, will lose it 2 or 3 years down the track.
Checo's actually been going for quite a while now.
Okay, well maybe.
But I think 2011 was his debut, I think.
Yeah, it was.
But I think it's more been in the spotlight now because before he would have just been. I think as soon as you're on Max's team, and especially in that car, it's sort of a given that you will finish second. You're bolstering up our championship points.
I think part of the problem with it as well is that he started the year quite well and then started making a lot of noise about, oh no, I can win the championship.
Yeah, I'm number one.
Yeah, and then it's gone backwards.
Yeah. So he started back in Australia 2011.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
And his first season was with Sauber.
Yeah, he was in the lower team. So I guess if you're
and
not
then
in
he went to
the
McLaren.
yeah. But if you're not in
The
the
lower
top
teams.
three teams now,
Lower teams.
you know, if you're not in Red Bull, even Ferrari just because of its name, Mercedes still because of its name, and now the Lance Stroll Superpower Hour, you're probably not getting as many eyes on you, you know.
Probably not.
And if you finish in the top 10 in any one of the other cars, you've done a gutsy drive. You know, like as soon as Gasly finishes like 7th or something, it's the second coming of F1 Jesus. And
I was listening to something, I think it was today, and they were basically saying like Guan Yu Zhou's essentially probably looking pretty shaky at the moment because his results have been.
He's there, Dave. You only hear
This
about
is the thing, but they said if you have an odd race in Austria and say it's wet or whatever, a few people crash, he pulls one out of the bag and finishes like 6th. All of a sudden, everyone will be like, "Oh, Zhou's awesome!" Like, he'll stay. And that I think there's a bit of that with Perez in that he pulled some of those blinder results over the years, so you artificially probably think he's better than what he actually is. Like the Bahrain or whatever 2020, where he really stepped up that day. But the day Bottas couldn't manage to win.
If there's too many drivers that have been, you know, bolstered up by, you know, they do one good drive, you know, and at the end of the year,
Nick de Vries.
a bunch of teams find out that Lance, Nick, you know, Forgotten Chinaman, Yuki, you know, there's like 6 people that are like all of a sudden looking without a job. Is there 6 people that they can replace them with new, or is it just a game of musical chairs and a couple of new people?
Yeah, well, the problem, I think part of the problem with the testing restrictions and that now is that you don't have a list of people that are ready to go.
Yeah.
You don't have that, you know, revolving where you did probably drop 2, 3, 4 guys each year and have that number come in. But you also, too, like I remember in the mid-90s watching F1 where you would have like someone paying for a seat for half the year and someone would pay for the seat for the other half of the year.
Yeah.
Like you'd have your Minardis and that where they could even cycle through 4 or 5 drivers during the year with different ones, you know, and you'd have injuries and things like that. But, you know, we always joked the other year about Latifi being 21st in a 20-car championship. You would say you'd have 24 cars in the championship, but you'd have, say, 36 drivers that have been in that 24 cars over the years.
Yeah. But now it's a lot more stable now.
Yeah.
Although technically, if you look at it, the replacements are basically going to be coming either from IndyCar or F2. Those are the main categories that if you're going to find replacement for these guys.
Will they be good enough, Bobby? Because the problem is your 2 current.
There's a steep like you're going to have to give them at least. Like, this is where the teams are going to have to say, all right, fine. They're going to have to try and give them a season to get used to the car, and then the second season is when they'll actually be able to show whether or not they can actually handle it or not. But then, of course...
But if you score no points in a season...
That's happened to a lot of people.
And your best result is 12th, and every other time you finish, like, 16, 17...
That's a different story.
Like, are you only Sargent or...
Logan's best result after his 12th is a run of 16, 20th, 18th, and 20th, and retired. Like it's not the best reading.
So what about the 3?
The slightly above, but still 0 points.
No points as well.
But you're also like at the moment, say you've got Sargent who just scraped together 40 points to get his super license. You've got Nick de Vries, who'd essentially been overlooked for years. Like he'd done his F2 stuff and then he'd gone off to Formula E because he was getting overlooked for. You've got Dragovic that took, 3 or 4 years to win the F2 championship. He's been overlooked now. Where then you've got to look at like a Piastri coming in, who's someone who got his super license off one season of F2. Like, you don't even have to look.
I think that kind of shows that he, and I mean, obviously the results show that he's done a little better. But if you struggle to get your super license, you're probably going to struggle in F1. But if you're someone like Piastri, who's just wins F3, wins F2, goes into F1, I think Booby's thing of give him a season to get used to the car works. But if you're a person that's like struggling to get into F1 and then you clearly struggle to do anything in F1, you know, you're just going to have to chalk that up to a loss and go, that's all right. We've got, 6 other people that we can probably poach from anywhere else, because it turns out contracts mean nothing now.
The big issue, the big issue at the moment, I think, is that they're not willing to take that chance as much as what they were in the past. And even then, this is where you get like Kimi hanging onto a seat for so long, and then going to Sauber. Like, he should have never got that second run at Ferrari, realistically. And then he got 2 or 3 years at Sauber on top of that. Like, Ferrari should have never signed him in. They should have been taking a chance on someone else, which, granted, the Bianchi thing kind of
that didn't work out.
Messed up plans. And they had to fill the gap somewhere. But, that's the problem. Like, they're not taking as much risk on that kind of stuff. And say 20 years ago, you probably would have seen someone like Alex Palou getting a shot at F1 earlier, and you'd probably also Pato O'Ward.
Also, Dave, at the other end, because what do you got? Hamilton's probably coming. I mean, let's be realistic. He's only got a couple of seasons left. Bottas has probably only got a season or 2.
He'll be gone. Yeah, he'll be gone before Audi comes in.
Yeah,
there's a lot. It seems to be equally weighted at either end. That there is a lot of, I'm going to say, garbage F1 drivers at one end, like your Logans, but then you've got champions who can't really let go of, as much as Lewis is great in there, I feel like he's hogging up a spot. Bottas is probably hogging
it starts to get to that point. Yeah,
it always does. You're always going to have those drivers that are there, dependable, they can score points.
I would say you've got Lewis, Bottas, Forgotten Chinaman, Yuki to a degree, Nick, Kevin, and Logan.
What about Hülkenberg?
And Nico could probably go. That's like 6 or 7 people that are, as they call them, list cloggers, who are just, just have at the end of the year, just have a fire sale and just get 5 of the best IndyCar drivers and Dan, because I'm biased, obviously, so he gets a free ride. So he comes along with Max, and they have Super Max team with, Dan being Robin. Everyone's happy there. And then, like, the lower end teams, just take a risk, and maybe just do the half and half thing where, they tell Alex Below, you've got all the even races, and Pato Award, you've got all the odd races, and then someone you could fight out for Monaco.
On a selfish thing though, I don't want to see Palou, Award, Newgarden, etc. leave IndyCar.
No, you want them still there. Send Herder to F1.
No, send him to Formula E. He's getting
I don't know what's happened there.
You know who needs a Formula One seat purely for my own enjoyment and because it's funny to hear commentators say it? I want Stingray to have one race.
Stingray Rob.
I don't care what it is. I don't like what's the worst F1 race there is. Whatever it is, just let him have give him a sprint series. Just give him one sprint race.
I'm not sure if he's meets the super license criteria.
No, you just have him in a race with Brad Pitt. So when Brad Pitt races, a bunch of people, you get people who don't have super licenses. Like when you have it like other sporting events, you had open days where it's like your younger brother wanted to compete. You're like, you can go in this race over here. we'll all watch you. Now we're not laughing at you, we're laughing with you. we're gonna watch, Herder drive around and then yell out, "Oh no, she smoked," as he takes it sideways around a corner because he can't read kilometers per hour to miles per feet squared or whatever they use. And then maybe they give him some bonus super license points. But I do think they need to have a fire sale in the F1 and just go to Lewis and tell him you're not getting your ninth or seventh or eighth, whatever championship you believe in your head that you've won. It's not happening anymore. You need to go. Tell Bottas he can go do, I don't know, rallycross. That seems like a thing that they do. And then basically have it like other sports events. Bottom three relegated. I don't care where you go. You're not in F1 next year.
Okay. I'm looking at the
Basically,
2028. I'm looking at the F1 contracts currently.
Keep Oscar, but anyone 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, they can all go. Keep Oscar in there.
Okay.
Obviously, because he's Australian, again, biased. Everyone else.
All right, Matt.
They're
I'm looking at the thing contract. So Max is there till 28.
He can stay there. He's boring, but
Perez next year.
He's going this year. Dave's already said it. He called it for weeks.
Yeah.
The two Ferrari boys, their contract finishes 24.
Oh,
Hamilton's the end of this year.
Yeah, Hamilton can go. Keep the Ferrari boys. They're fun.
Russell, all it says is multi-year. So
Russell, I like Russell because he's going to become the new Inspector Seb and the whinging Lewis Hamilton. He's taking two jobs and saving money and putting it into one area.
Okay. So Ocon is 24 as well. He
can stay. I'll extend his
Gasly
contract.
is a multi-year contract as well.
Who was that?
Gasly.
Gasly can stay.
I reckon Gasly's would have only been a 2.
Possibly.
That's multi-day.
Lando is until 25.
Yep, he can stay.
Piastri 24.
He can definitely stay.
Bottas is a multi-year contract.
And it's multiply going to finish at the end of this year because I'm now Max Mosley and I run F1. He's done.
Yep. The Forgotten Chinaman is this year.
I don't see.
He could be done.
He could be done.
He'd have to be gone.
Mm-hmm. Our favourite rookie of the year is multi-year.
He can stay, but in all honesty, he probably needs to go too because he's clogging up a list.
But then you do.
But get the thing is with F1, it's all about the entertainment as well. With Alonso at the moment,
I think the thing is he's like, we make jokes about it, but he's clearly there to help Lance get better. Whereas I don't think Lewis wants George to get better.
No,
he's not there to help George. Whereas you can tell Alonso probably speaks to him at the end of races and says, you know how you crashed it? Maybe you shouldn't have crashed it. Whereas Lewis would be like, George crashed it. What a dickhead. Yeah.
Well, our Canadian mate is on his contract status is unknown.
No, that's he just has to negotiate with Dad.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be there under the table there.
Our Magnussen is multi-year contract.
Yeah, what is
Don't know why.
Go to the back.
Don't know why. Our favourite Hülkenberg is this year, so I'll probably say bye-bye. He's gone.
Yeah, I don't know where, because they got him in for this year, so I'm not sure. I don't know what the fucking point is, but
maybe they're waiting for somebody from IndyCar to get their supercar license.
No, Dave's already said you can't take too many of them.
No,
they're Dave's toys. Don't take them off.
Just give us one.
You get Pillow and that's it.
Done.
Maybe you can take Rosenquist.
I'll take Rosenquist. We'll have the two Finns fighting against each other.
Do you think they do have a rule, not like an unwritten law that IndyCar, if it does happen at the end of the year, when out, do you reckon IndyCar can be like, well, you're taking 5 or 6 of our, stars.
No, they're totally different governing bodies. They don't talk to each other.
No. I'm not saying that it's like an actual rule, but would it be where the governing body of Indy, be like, can you maybe just like only take 4 instead of 6? Because if we lose our top 6 drivers, it just becomes F1 essentially, and it becomes boring because one person will,
But it won't happen. It won't happen.
No, but you also, I mean, there's not that many outside of the Penske drivers. There's not that many who have actually got super licenses.
Exactly. Oh, that's a point because you don't.
Yeah,
you've got to
so I think it's the 3 Penske drivers, Palou, maybe Scott Dixon, which realistically, Dixon's might even have expired now. His points
probably.
Like he might not have enough for it.
Oh,
but realistically, like McLaughlin's bordering on too old. But Will Power's too old. Newgarden won't do it now. He's too set in his ways. Like Palou is the main one. And obviously, you got Herder and Pardo who want to, but they haven't got the points.
All right, we've got 2 more teams to go for it.
1 or 2.
Yeah. If that happens. So we've got the 2 more. Let me do the last 2 teams. AlphaTauri or the old Minardi. Yuki finishes this year.
Yep.
Nick De Vries is on a multi-year, but I've got a feeling that multi-year will let him be a 1 year
I'm surprised
contract.
he's not on a multi-race contract where at the end of each race, Helmut just comes up to him and goes, nah.
If they had a better option, De Vries would be out the door already.
Yeah, and then Williams, you've got Albon, who's on a multi-year contract. Fair enough.
Keep him.
Yeah.
And Logan Sargent, they've only got him for this year.
Again, he should be on a multi-minute contract. Every minute the he's on, you just kick him out.
If we don't get Dan back in the Red Bull, I'd like to see Albon get his second shot at it.
At
Red Bull?
Yeah, because he was promoted too early.
Now that he's got some experience, I'd like to see him now in Red Bull.
And that was the problem. And he didn't do that badly. Now, when you look at what Perez has done, what Gasly did before, Albon actually didn't do too badly.
He did all right.
Yeah.
So Yuki, Dan at Team Blue Ox.
Yep.
No, I think Dan will be at Red Bull.
He'll be at the Red Bull, not the Blue Ox.
Yeah.
Will they call it Will they call it Toro Rosso again?
No, it's changing names.
Again? Why?
Yeah, what's the...
Basically, I think Helmut said that they've got to, like, as the offspring said, keep them separated. And so they're having a brand new name. So I'm either going Blue Ox, Racing Point, Bull Point, Super Deluxe Energy Racer, or
Energy Racing Point.
Jet Force Marco.
Jet Force Super Squad Happy Friendship Gang.
Yeah.
And it's just a picture of you
in the
on
comments.
the side.
In the comments, give us the names for the new Red Bull second team name. If we got,
I mean, we'll just go 6. If none of them work, I don't know what.
Exactly.
Back to Minardi.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. We'll call them Minardi again. Bring back the old names. Bring back Tyrrell.
No.
Yeah.
Bring back.
Makes it easier for Dave to remember.
Exactly. Too many new. Then also the fact that we've got too many teams that start with the letter A. We need. There needs to be. They change the name.
Alfa Romeo will be gone next year unless it's
that becomes
unless
Audi.
It goes to Haas.
Okay.
Yeah, but it won't be Audi until 2025.
Good. Max got a good one there for us.
Monster
Energy Racing. Great.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. No, so yeah, with that.
Or Red Bull sugar free.
Yeah, that could work. Because the lesser of the drink. You're not getting as much performance out of it because you're missing out on the sugar hit.
Well, so yeah, I didn't really read the full thing of like why they're changing over, but I'm assuming it's still Red Bull's team, right? It's their
of course. It's the sister team.
Yeah.
Unless they're lining it up for $1 billion sale.
Possibly.
Well,
Who knows?
if Alpine's worth
Maybe
$1 billion
it could be the.
at
What happened to that?
125%.
What about
Do
the
you reckon
what
it's
happened to
really
the
dumb Shark Tank? Sorry, Bobby.
possibly maybe with
You
that,
know
but
when
I'm
you go to
thinking
Shark Tank and go,
Yeah.
we are looking for $200 million for 24% of our company because we have valued it at $87 trillion. We will accept all offers from the sharks, please.
from the Sharks. No, I was
From
just
the
thinking whether or
Deadpools.
not maybe they're trying to sell it to the Andretti Cadillac consortium.
Well, that's the easiest way they'd get in.
It would be.
Yeah. Yeah. What I find unfair with that is that they turned around and said, right, you need $200 million or whatever to enter. And they've gone,
Yeah.
right, here's $200 million. Oh, no.
No.
Now,
Change my mind. It's $300 million.
now
we
you
need
need a
more- now we need
manufacturer or whatever. And they're like, right, we've got General Motors. Like,
Good General Motors, yeah.
yeah, they're pretty interested in coming along with us. Oh, no. Now you need, I think,
It's the
if-
no homers club. We've already got one.
Exactly. They don't
And
want
that's
it to become
it.
too American.
And yeah, you've essentially you've undervalued that position, but
Exactly.
Yep.
you've had Andretti come in and go, right, we're prepared to do this. What
Exactly.
they
We're prepared
thought
to,
people wouldn't have been prepared to do. You've got to accept it. Like
Exactly.
you fucked up or whatever.
But also, Andretti's it's not like Andretti's like a Lance Stroll, who's just turned
No.
up and going, hey, look
Yeah.
at me, I've got money. Even
No.
I know the Andretti name. Like he's mentioned in songs and stuff. Like he's not he's basically a household name for
The
From
difference,
Rainbow
I suppose,
Think
with
about-
Stroll was that he was buying an existing team that was a going kind of thing. So that's you
But I mean,
kind of know
Andretti's
what
got-
you're getting with that. Whereas the Andretti starting from scratch, teams starting from scratch haven't had the best run recently.
Yeah.
Like Haas has been the most successful, which and they did a very different way of getting into the sport with basically taking as much Ferrari stuff as they can, whereas Andretti's is a more traditional setup to start off with. But
Yeah.
as well, if they've got that money and they want to come in and they've met the criteria that you set out at that point, it's like, well,
just let them
if
in.
they come in and fail, that's their own fault.
Exactly.
But they
got
met the
money.
criteria.
Exactly. I'd rather
But
see.
that's,
I wouldn't mind actually seeing another team in F1. I want to see more cars on the grid.
Yeah.
I want to. There's more of a chance for other things to go wrong. You want to see maybe who knows Cadillac, who knows GM might produce one of the best engines ever. They've got the experience with IndyCar.
Or
They
they
know how
might
to
be
build
just
a
buying
turbocharger.
Renault engines and rebadging them.
Or they might be, or who knows, they might just do or they could do a deal with not Ford. I'm trying to think who the other one is.
At the moment, it looks like they're doing a deal with Renault.
Oh God, no!
But
It sounds like the VB Commodore. It sounds like it was the ZB Commodore all over again.
but the thing is, as well, if you have the bigger field there, all of a sudden, you have got 2 more seats for 2 more drivers.
Exactly. It gives a chance for more drives to get in there. It gives a chance for the young. There's an opportunity for F2 sports car. Anybody that can get a super license, being able to drive an F1 again.
Dave's IndyCar.
Yeah.
Dave's
No, not really. I reckon if anything, they'll be coming more from F2 than anything else.
Yeah.
But could it
But
also
it's
dilute the product? If you have more teams, the bottom teams are like, we need 2 drivers. How about old Matt and Nicholas Latifi? They're 2 technically drivers that have licenses, and I turn up with a stack of money and go, give me a seat. They're like, all right.
That's some of the issue at the moment. But in theory, with the cost cap and that, and the bigger profits with the better redistribution of money and things like that, that in theory you won't have to take on your Latifis in the future.
The paid drivers won't be as
that you should be in a better position where you picking all the drivers on merit rather than what funding they can. Yeah.
How much
Fair
merit did Logan come with? Just out of curiosity, like a lot of
not sure.
His budget wasn't the same as Latifi's, but I think the idea was that the American companies would then get behind.
That's what
more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, the problem is you can't get behind him when he's the very last person. If
Well,
he's
Sauber at the moment have got the same problem with Zhou.
Yeah,
That they were expecting the Chinese companies to get behind, and
but even they
it hasn't
forget that he's in
happened.
the race, Dave. They're probably,
yeah.
Will they still sign him up for next year, so at least races once at his home race? Or he'll be gone by then, you reckon?
Go on.
I think it depends on how much money Audi wants to spend on building it up.
Okay. But they're not coming until 2026, aren't they?
That's the problem, and they'll be looking. I think Norris is probably at the top of their shopping list at the moment.
Okay.
But you wouldn't be looking, like, obviously Norris's contract runs to the end of 2025 as well.
Yeah.
But there's no point, say, bringing in your star driver until, say, even 2025 to get him into the team a bit.
Exactly.
There's no point signing a big name for 2024 unless you're really back to him to corner where you have to. But you've also then got to convince someone to say, right, you've got 2 years of pain while we're turning this into Audi.
Yeah.
But didn't they do that with Alonso started this year at Lance
Aston.
Racing.
Yeah.
Because basically they would have said to him, hey, we were pretty shit last year, but take my word for it, me and my son are taking this car places. My son won't be able to drive the car because he's trash, but you're a two-time world champion, and I will pay you money to drive and money to be my son's best friend. There'll be no pain. Your shoulders will get sore from carrying the team.
I think as well with the Alonso thing a bit, Alpine were pissing around with the contracts. Essentially they wouldn't make a decision between Alonso and Piastri because they knew they had to do something with Piastri, but they had the problem that Alonso was doing better than Ocon, and you had Ocon to a long-term contract.
That's the issue.
So unfortunately, they had 3 drivers into 2 seats, and the worst of the 3 essentially was the one that you were stuck with, and they didn't make a decision. And Alonso was probably on a cut price deal with Alpine because of going back with that kind of unknown. You've been out of it for a few years. And then Aston came along and went, we're looking for a driver. We'll give you $20 million a year. Come and be our lead driver.
I'm not even paying my second driver. He doesn't even get money. He just turns up on the day.
And Alonso would have gone, you know what would be really fucking funny? I know Piastri's going to McLaren, and you're going to be in the shit. I'm going to go and take this deal.
Were you telling me that he was still talking to Webber? Because Webber...
Well, that's the bit of the rumor as well. That then
is that the conspiracy theory? Yeah,
behind the scenes, then Webber and Alonso have been chatting or whatever and been like, hey, Piastri's going to McLaren kind of thing. Don't worry, you've got the Alpine seat. That's all right. Like, Piastri's not going to be there. And Alonso's going, well, I got this opportunity with Aston Martin. So for shits and giggles, let's not announce that until you've sorted out this McLaren thing. So then Alpine's got no one.
Exactly.
Well, because it does sound like he did time it almost too conveniently well.
That was
like the term of events when Vettel retired, and then we had that Twitter message about he'll play and then he's not, and then Alonso turned. It does sound like he knew, maybe not the exact timing, but he knew that he needed to do something at that time.
Anyway, who knows? We might get something like that at the end of the year as well, with considering the number of drivers that their contracts are up at the end of this year.
And then without a championship battle, at least it gives us something to talk about.
Exactly. So now,
wait, is it a championship battle, Dave? I thought it was just called the Max Verstappen now.
It's the Max Verstappen, so now we have to do our predictions for second, third, and
it's a little trophy of just Max, and then behind it is what's his name, Josh, just standing there going like, "You be good to my boy. No one say bad stuff about my son. He's a good boy."
All right, so predictions for the Grand Prix.
All
I
right,
don't care
now,
about the sprint race. I don't care about the sprint race. Main race on the Sunday. Sprint race is just for shits and giggles.
Leclerc.
Yeah, that's
tell us how
points.
you really feel, Boovy.
What are,
I can
what are we
still- I can
picking?
keep going.
Second to fourth.
Second
Yep.
to fourth. Yep. So who you going, Dave?
Leclerc, Georgie
Leclerc,
boy.
You know,
Oh
wow.
no, put Nando in third. Leclerc
What,
second. Lando.
Georgie-
Fernando.
want
Fernando
Alonso?
third,
Fernando and then Alonso will be Fernando first.
Alonso, and then
second.
you want Lando fourth? You want Lando fourth?
Georgie boy.
Russell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Boovy, as I told you
Matt, I've
before,
got
Rob
yours.
spoke to me. Rob
I know.
has said
Yep,
to
what's
me.
yours? Yep.
Rob has said that
Rob,
Max
please
first,
confirm this if you're watching this. I know we're not worried about
Um,
Max, so we need second, third, fourth.
second will be Lando.
Norris?
Third,
Logan Sargent.
No.
no. Third's going to be Esty Bestie.
Ocon.
Yep, and fourth is going to be Gasly.
Cool.
And they're definitely not random names that I've just looked at over on this screen over here.
Bob, put your correct guesses in. If
Nope. Rob told me that.
Yeah.
He said, Matt, this is a 100% legally binding contract. Here are my choices.
See, I would have more gone for the Stroll second,
yeah, exactly.
Sargent third, Sonoda fourth or something.
No, because I also
Exactly.
said, Rob, I won't say a stupid guess because I still want you to get points. And he said, thank you, Matt. You're a good, honest man.
Yeah,
You deserve a
unlike
mark.
that jerk Dave.
He
So-
hates all Canadian F1 drivers.
Matt, you might as well say your three then.
I've got Alonso second.
Yep.
And I've got Inspector Russell third.
Yep.
And Sir Lancelot, because now that he's going to be a knight, he's coming
Yep.
in at fourth.
Yep. All right.
And I'm also
Mine?
predicting he
Yep.
gets a hug from his dad.
Okay.
That's
You
all
might
he
have
ever
to-
wanted.
He doesn't. All,
Yeah,
it's all
he just wants to be
wants.
loved by his dad.
He
just
wants
to be loved by-
validation from his dad.
Yeah. So my predictions, I've got Sir Lewis finishing second.
I hope not.
His sidekick, Mr. Inspector
Oh.
Gadget, third.
That'd be a
And
close
I wa-
podium.
I know, and then Leclerc fourth.
Can you imagine Max, Hamilton, and Russell? That is honestly one of the worst combinations of podiums that I could think of.
Yeah, I know. It's not going to be the
I-
funnest one, but
I've just realised the
the
best.
problem
one
is I
would be-
chose Alonso. The problem is I chose Alonso
Ah.
Perez last week, so I can't
I
choose him
want-
this week.
I want Yuki on the podium because I imagine he has to climb up onto it, and it would take a good couple of minutes to get to the top.
Little steppy stool for him.
And even if he's standing at number one, everyone else will still be taller than him on each side.
They give him
No,
a boost.
No, the other funny thing is they'll let him stand on number one and they'll all drop down to like the third one, so at least everybody's all the same height.
And I imagine the radio message at the end of it will just be him swearing that they didn't give him a little extra podium just so he could be level standing. That's why I want Yuki first and Esty Bestie third, because I reckon with the height difference.
The height difference.
And then who would you
they'll
have a
still be
second
about
then?
the same.
And who would you have a second?
Oh.
Just to keep the heights about the same.
Yeah, you know what? I'd have Lewis there because he would be so uncomfortable because he's like, I don't even know who you are. I've never seen you two in my life. In fact, do you even go to this school? What are you doing here?
Right.
I reckon he's looked at like people at the back and he sees them and he's like, oh, that's right, you're Yuki?
You drive
Yeah,
like that.
I know
Yeah.
you.
That new bloke who's in that Minardi.
Exactly.
Hey, where's the Force India team? I haven't seen them for a while. Where'd they go?
All right. Do you guys want my F2 predictions?
Sure,
Yes.
why not?
All right.
Why
so,
not?
all right. I'm going for this is only feature race, even though both races do count, but I'm just doing the feature race for F2. I'm predicting Vesti to win it. Rob's favourite Englishman, Behrman.
Is picking Vesti Buvy just the equivalent of just picking Max?
No, not in F2.
Oh.
I'm picking Behrman to finish second, the Behrman, and then fourth is my favourite Frenchie Pocher in F2. So I reckon that's probably a good poached eggs. And Doohan, hopefully he finishes in the points. That's all I care about. I don't care if as long as he's up there, that's all I care about. I didn't put the Aussie in this time because the way he's been driving this year and the way he's been going with his team, not the best.
It's all right. Alpine is still behind him.
That's true. Who knows? He might become their new driver.
Yeah. or he could end up at McLaren or Rahal Letterman or Sauber.
He could even
like
end
all
up
the other
academy drivers from
Alpine academies.
Is any? Dave, we might as well get your IndyCar predictions for Mid Ohio.
I haven't thought about this too much.
Dave just wants everyone to have a fun race because the real winner is friendship.
I want the Good Ranchers 33s, whatever else sponsors.
Who's sponsoring it?
Good Ranchers this weekend.
Really? Good Ranchers? What they get?
Yeah.
Has he got like a rolling sponsorship or something?
Yeah. The meat wagon is back this weekend. And
Jeez.
he took it to Victory Lane at Barber earlier on in the year. I reckon Scotty was pretty good at Mid Ohio last year. Okay. So, and I'll put Power on the podium with him because he had a ridiculous drive here last year. And Pelot's unstoppable at the moment, so probably second for Pelot and third for Power.
So you want the Kiwi, the Frenchie, and the Aussie.
McLaughlin's basically an Aussie. When we're talking about McLaughlin, it's the seventh state.
That's Aussie. So, all right. So two
when we're talking about Scott Dixon, totally different country.
Okay, fair enough. So in that case, we'll talk. A second. Yeah. So we're talking two Aussies and the Spanish bloke.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, I can accept that.
We'll see how we go.
Who knows exactly? It's IndyCar. Who knows what the hell's going to happen?
Exactly. You watch Rossi just have the weekend of his life, and Rossi and Grosjean go for it.
Exactly. Who knows?
Or who is Grosjean going to crash into this weekend?
Yes. No. The next question, and also, will he make the car fly again?
Actually, thingy Kirk Kirkwood's been better at flying jumpy cars this year. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. He jumped at he did I think it was 2 jumps at St. Pete, but he did the really good one where he jumped over a car.
I saw that one. That was an awesome one.
Yeah, and he did the roof ride at Indy. And then he did the jumpy jumps at the start of Detroit as well.
Right. Okay, so he's been up in the air 3 times. Awesome.
Yeah, he does a lot more spectacular. Like Grosjean just does your normal kind of, nose it into the wall kind of crashes, whereas, Kirkwood likes to put a bit of flair into it.
So he wants to make it. He's going for artistic points there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Nice. Any other motor racing on this weekend apart from IndyCar, F1, any NASCAR? We don't really care about it.
Well, we discussed that earlier. Shane Vanderbergen's.
He's racing in Detroit. So we're going to have.
Yeah.
So we got Chicago, Detroit.
And I found out that the other Michael Jordan has a NASCAR team.
Does he?
The one that's
the real Michael Jordan.
The real Michael Jordan. Yeah, he's got a NASCAR team.
Turns out everyone has a NASCAR team.
I think so.
Letterman. That's enough.
Letterman has an IndyCar team.
He's got the
IndyCar. They've got everyone's got a car team of some sort.
Deadpool.
Hey, Rob is watching us. That's
nice of him.
Exactly.
Well, Rob didn't say anything about his prediction. So clearly, what I said was 100% correct.
Exactly.
And if he doesn't correct us in the next 30 seconds before we go off air,
No, Dave,
Exactly.
it's locked in.
It's already locked in.
Already
Game
locked in.
over. I've got it in there. I'll even screenshot it to show that if he changes it, we know it. We know that he's changed it.
Again, Boovy, he's not going to change it because he definitely told me they were the ones that he picked.
I don't know. I've got the spreadsheet open. I'll tell you know if he's going to modify it or not.
I don't think if he believes you.
I feel like Boovy doesn't trust me.
Well, somebody else does it. He's actually changing it right now.
I didn't even know we had a spreadsheet.
There is a spreadsheet.
How professional are we?
No, he's changed it. He's left Norris at second though.
For now.
For now. For now.
Wait until he changes it for later.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen it.
On Monday morning.
Monday morning, he'll change it to the ones he likes. Nah, thank you.
Wait until he sees Sir Lancelot just tear it up because Alonso's like, you can do it, and he just drives past.
Okay,
Yeah.
He's changed. So, Matt, he's kept your prediction for second with Norris.
Of course,
he's changed
that's
third
what he
and
told
fourth.
me.
He's changed third and fourth, though. Would you like to know to who?
I'll keep it as a surprise.
You want to know?
Because I know
keep it as a surprise?
It's not real. He's
Yeah, well, all right. So if you want to keep it a surprise, but I've screenshotted it. So next week, if you guys complain about whatever he chose, okay, this is what was before and this is what it was after. So I've got the screenshots to prove.
In my heart, I know what he's done.
Okay, you should. All right, fine. That's what you believe. Believe that, Matt. Believe that. You can believe that.
So I think I can save my question for next week for Rob as well.
Okay.
Which one was that one?
I've got many questions, and then I'm only going to get more questions for next week.
Exactly. And also, for those that didn't know, Matt's favourite car company, Mazda, had a car at Pikes Peak this year, and they finished 21st.
Out of 20?
Out of 42.
That's still pretty good.
It's pretty good.
You're halfway, Matt. You finished in the top. You finished in the top half.
What cars did it beat, Boovy?
Good question. I will find out for you.
Like, did it beat a proper hill climbing car? Did it beat the Volkswagen IDR? Because if it did, that's impressive.
They didn't race. No, they didn't race this time.
They were too scared of the power of the Mazda.
Yeah. I mean, Boovy, you've seen a Mazda in full force.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't go up against it.
So Matt, it bet a 2022 Porsche GT4 RS Club Sport.
Just saying. See?
It bet a few Porsches. It bet an E-Motion Porsche GT3R.
What's an E-Motion? Is that your favorite, an electronic car?
I think so. It bet an S2000.
Of course it did.
It bet a 2020 Supra.
Supers these days are just what are they? A BMW?
BMW.
Basically.
Shitbox.
A 1983 Audi Quattro.
Oh, that's when they were good.
A 2002 Porsche 911 Twin Turbo.
Did this Mazda have a twin turbo?
I have no idea, but it did really well.
I mean, 21st, that's...
21st out of 66, Matt. Not even 42. 21st out of 66.
It's getting better every time, Dave.
Yeah.
Top third. You're in the top third.
Was it in did they do different categories for hill climbs?
You were in exhibition.
Where did we finish in exhibition?
1, 2, 3.
I'm sensing podium, Dave.
5th.
It's a big podium, Dave. It's extra wide.
You finished 5th in exhibition, which is actually not too bad. What came first in exhibition was a 2023 Radford Type 62-2. It's the one that Tanner Faust raced.
No, he doesn't count. He's a
Doesn't sound like a real car.
Yeah, that sounds like a movie. That sounds like a car that you make up in a racing game to get around copyright laws.
Okay. So the guy that finished second has got a 2021 Tesla Model S Plaid.
Yeah, that doesn't count either because that's electronic. You don't count
Okay.
those.
BMW M8.
Nah.
No. A Radical
just
SR
cheating.
diesel. A Radical SR diesel.
Nah, that's a diesel car, Bobby. That's a different class as well. I've just invented it.
Okay, fair enough. So in that case, you won.
Winner.
That means you got first spot.
Winner!
Winner!
And Dave, on that note, we can end on a high.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Until next week. We'll
All right.
enjoy the racing over the weekend, and
And
we'll see you then.
no problems.
Yeah, well.
I'm just going to keep waving.